Welcome, everybody, back to a brand new edition of the Ludicrous Report, better known as TLR. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, Issa. I am Joey Karni, and there are so many fun topics this week in the pop culture world. I was looking before, we were both looking before, and a lot of stuff coming out. I saw some stuff about Black Panther. There's stuff about things that we've previously talked about, including Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, of course, and Chris Hemsworth, Nick Cannon, and Issa's favorite thing to talk about, Bad Bunny. Yes, there it is. So many fun topics. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like down below the Know Your News channel. There's so many great shows that they bring you weekly, on a daily basis weekly. We are just one of those every Tuesday right here on the Know Your News channel. And we bring you pop culture news and different wacky, cool stuff that we think we should know about. So we should probably start off with the biggest thing going right now, and that is Bad Bunny. What's going on, Bad Bunny, Isa?
He just got nominated for Grammy Album of the Year, first Spanish language. I believe the first non-English language album nominated for Album of the Year. Obviously, we have the Spanish Grammys, the Latin Grammys, which he leads in nominations. But it's almost as big of a bigger deal, obviously. But that MTV award that I was telling you about is the first Spanish act to get nominated for that. So we just found out that Bad Bunny is like sitting up there with Beyonce, with all of the biggest artists in the US, and it's a huge deal for the Latin America community. For us, the Bad Bunny fans, it's also a big deal. It was very exciting because I always feel like, me personal, right? It's just my own personal choices here that I'm saying, but he always got recognized by the Grammys, but it was always the Latin Grammys, right? And in my opinion, it's like when you see a guy that's putting up the numbers that he's putting, overtaking a lot of other artists, on sales, on tour, on downloads, on stream, shouldn't you start considering broadening the category, not just to Bad Bunny, but just to artists worldwide? Because there's artists out there that are doing even bigger things than, some of the artists that people are familiar with. I feel like this opened the door for other artists from other languages that are doing big things to know, hey, you can go for a normal VMA, you can go for a normal Grammy. You don't have to wait for the Latin Grammys or for whatever special little subcategory they make for you. So super proud, super proud. When I first listened to the album, I personally thought that it was like a masterpiece, and it's a non-skippable album. And to me, that's very hard to achieve, right? When you're listening to music, how do you find that album that you can listen from song one until the end and not skip one? And I couldn't believe that he managed to pull that off. So, but I remember thinking, okay, I'm biased, like I've been a Bad Bunny girl for a long time. And then I start seeing the reviews, and then I start seeing the community reaction and the downloads and how many weeks he stayed at number one. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just me. People can agree with me here. How do you feel about seeing somebody like, an album that you might not listen to, might not understand, but that is breaking into mainstream, and you see it being played everywhere, crowds singing it, people dancing to it, even they can understand the words? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I love it because for such a long time, it's been very, very, I would say, biased with people who are choosing in all these categories, where every year it seemed like the same thing. And it's not just the Grammys. That goes for the Oscars. That goes for, in general, award shows that we have here in the United States. I think it's very, very biased picks for these type of awards. So to see somebody like Bad Bunny, I mean, like, what's really cool is that, like you said, it opens doors. I think this guy, he kicked down the freaking door. Like, look at the year that he's had.
And when he accepted, sorry to interrupt you, but when you say that, one of the moments that I really loved is when he accepted that VMA for Artist of the Year, right? Not the Latin this, no, Artist of the Year. He said that he came here to show the world that he didn't have to change who he was, his language, his culture, where he's from, to be able to become one of the biggest artists in the world. So that's why I interrupted you, because I'm like, that's exactly what he was trying to do, kick down doors without having to go and start an album in English and then slowly introduce them to your Spanish music. None of that. Right. He just showed up as himself, never once changed who he is.
Yeah. And another thing to add to that as well, he accepted that award for the VMAs while performing in a giant stadium, and I don't
Sold
think
out
that
Yankee Stadium night too.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't see people, first off, sell out stadiums. Like, there's arena shows, he's on a stadium level.
Well,
But
yeah, that's the
also,
reason why he did that, because the arena
yeah,
tour that he did before that sold out, and fans were angry they couldn't get tickets. So he's
yeah.
like, let's go bigger.
I personally have never seen somebody perform from a stadium like that for the VMAs. Like, it's in-house or close by here and there.
Right.
Freaking Yankee Stadium. I mean, like, it doesn't get
His own
bigger than that.
concert. Like, let's interrupt your
Yeah.
concert for a performance real quick. I again, because I'm biased, I always wait to hear from other people, because I was like, that's BDE. Like, that's how it's done. Like, that's how you show the world you're here. And he said it in his speech. You know, he said his full name. Obviously, here in Puerto Rico, we go by 2 last names. So it was so funny that he said his full-blown name and said from Puerto Rico to the world. And he also got Apple's Music Artist of the Year this week. That was also announced. He always, like, he's been winning Spotify most stream for like 3 years in a row. That's getting old already. I think the recognition by Apple Music is also a big deal. And it's, you know, when he showed up in WWE, and a lot of people were like, well, nobody knows who he is, right? And we had that with Logan Paul. Like, why is this guy here? I don't think people understand the reach and the amount of audience that these people are bringing in. Sadly, I thought that he was a big deal back then. The fact that some people didn't know who he was, I was mind blown. I'm like, how do you not know who he is? He was in the Super Bowl halftime show, you know, like, how do you not know? But he, like, compared to his fame now, it's insane what he's done in the last year and a half. After WrestleMania, he like completely took off, even more than what he already was.
See, I was aware of who he was. I just wasn't aware of the power behind him. Like, I didn't know that he was that big of an artist, because I'm not like a listener of his style of music. Like, I don't know anything about it or much about it to you know, have a proper opinion on it. But I knew who he was, and just to see everything he's doing. I mean, he's doing movies now. Like, this guy is just he's everywhere.
Yeah, he's gonna be in a Marvel movie, I believe, and he did Bullet Train with Brad Pitt. He's in Narcos in Netflix. Yeah, it's crazy, because to us, I was showing you the hat. I was gonna wear it. It says "Play Bad Bunny." To us here in Puerto Rico, this I joke about it. I pray to Bad Bunny, right?
Yeah.
But to us, like, that's the reason the hat is an ongoing joke, because every time you go out to like a club or a restaurant with music, all of the girls go up to the DJ and say, "Please play Bad Bunny." So now they put it on T-shirts and hats, so you don't have to say it. Yeah. So to us here, you know, he is it. But to see him get the global pull that he's getting, now you're seeing these concerts that I've been retweeting every time that I see it. This is in Uruguay, in Argentina, Mexico, DR. Like, this is like a global, and he's bringing, okay, the best way to explain it, the first time that I listened to him, I felt like home. I was like, this guy is home. He reminded me of home. And that's my connection with Bad Bunny, especially because I wasn't living in Puerto Rico back then. I finished listening to the first song I ever heard. And I remember thinking, he's so freaking Puerto Rican, like even more than me, like, you know, the words that he's saying. So to hear him take our culture from our tiny little island, where Puerto Rico is, you know, 100 meters by 35, we're tiny, and to hear people from all over the world using our slang language, singing our music, like dancing to our music, it's a big deal, you know. And even now, finally, here, older people are even starting to recognize him, because when he first started, people frown upon him because he curses, you know, like, it was almost like, it reminded me a lot of when Eminem first came out. Because I remember I was obsessed with Eminem, and everybody hated him because of his language. Right. But he's not controversial like that, because the first few albums, Eminem was saying some messed up things, right? But Bad Bunny is all about partying and having fun, you know, and it's a good vibe music. But to be from here, this tiny little island that barely gets talked about or mentioned, and just see this guy become the biggest artist in the world, is just, I feel like a proud mom. Cheers to that. Look, I'm even using the cup that I got at his concert today. Like, I'm all Bad Bunny.
Representing.
Yep.
Before Bad Bunny, who else was like the biggest star?
Daddy Yankee. When it came to that music that was from here, that style of music, Daddy Yankee. Yeah, because Daddy Yankee was born and raised here. You know, you have like J-Lo, but J-Lo is more what the locals will call J-Lo like New Yorker, born and raised in New York, but, you know, has the Puerto Rican roots. But from here, I would say Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee did a few things. You know, people were bumping to Gasolina, and
of course,
but it was not to this level. Never it got to this level where everybody knows who he is. And Daddy Yankee's retiring, and I feel like he finally passed the torch. Like it feels like he
finally
passed the torch.
someone. There's a large gap between Daddy Yankee's time and Bad Bunny.
Mainstream, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you've seen them collaborate here and there with a couple of hip hop artists. Like even Bad Bunny had that collab with Cardi B.
Yeah.
But none on their own. Like, and that if you ever hear his story, it's crazy because when he first started rapping, he was on SoundCloud, and then he got into this deal where they just had him putting out singles, but he wasn't putting out like an album, and people were like, no, so he had to get out of that deal. So he has like a long story, but he's been trying to break out since 2017. Wow. And funny enough, I found him because of wrestling. I didn't even found him because of Puerto Rico and the music connection. I found him because he came out with a music video with Ric Flair back in 2017. And somebody was like, do you see Ric Flair with a Puerto Rican rapper? I'm like, what are you talking about? So then that's when I listened and I was like, this guy is so Puerto Rican. Why is Ric Flair with him? And ever since I've been hooked. But it's like really funny how my two worlds kind of like weirdly came together. And he has Stone Cold in a music video. That's why I was like, I didn't understand the backlash. I was like, if you know him, you know that this guy is a huge wrestling fan. He's always been. So when he busted out in the scene with wrestling, I was like, oh, don't knock until you try him. Like he never half-asses his project. So I figured he was gonna do well, not as well as he did. Like he even chucked me, and I'm his biggest like cheerleader.
I mean, he was the MVP, I think, of WrestleMania last year. Like this, he was just. Had a great match. Just incredible. And I saw an episode. I'm not sure what the show is called, but they're like in a barbershop and it's all a bunch of famous people and they're sitting around
with LeBron.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
he talks about WrestleMania.
I saw the episode of Bad Bunny, and I was like, man, like kudos to him, because like that it takes a lot to do that, but to be like to hear his story and just the love he has for wrestling in general.
Did you ever get a chance to see him when he went on Jimmy Fallon? Because Jimmy Fallon asked him about WrestleMania, and Bad Bunny mentioned
not recently
how he watched. Like he said, he went back and watched the match every night for like a month and a half after Mania. And I was like, he's such
true
a fan,
artist,
because that's what you and I would do if we get the chance to perform at WrestleMania, because you're a mark on the inside, So he said before bed for almost 2 months straight, he watched the match every single night. And I thought it was kind of awesome that he picked Priest, being that Priest is also Puerto Rican. It made sense, like tag team, and just I don't want to say giving the rub, but if you're going to put one of the biggest artists in the world in the Latin community, why not pair him up with another, with another Latin? So I thought it made perfect sense. It was funny though, because they're polar opposites, but then we have this with the rock star vibe and look, and you have this little rapper.
But it worked, and he like that whole thing. It elevated the culture, but it also elevated Priest. Like it did phenomenal numbers. But I'm sure we can.
The album is amazing. The album is amazing, and I'm not shocked to see it up there with the numbers that it's done, the downloads, the stream, and the music itself in the album. I know a lot of people, because of the language, they can't understand it, but I've seen a lot of people bumping and dancing to it, even not understanding it. It really is a very well put together album. And like I said, even if you don't understand it, for us, it's what I would call an unskippable album. And it's been a long time since I came across an album that I could listen from start to finish without skipping songs.
Yeah. I was out this last weekend with some friends, and there was a DJ, and I'm like, what is this song? Who's the song? And my friend goes, that's Bad Bunny. And I'm like, I like a Bad Bunny song. Look at that. Like, I'm the last person you would think would be like, oh, Bad Bunny. But like, also, like it's become mainstream. And I think it's really hard to do. Like,
in a different language.
In a different language, but sticking to everything that he sticks to his guns. He sticks to who he is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest outcome, is like, this guy, he is who he is, and he's at the top of everything.
And he's still in his 20s. I don't even know how do you go from here. And I'll shut up, because after the last album, I was like, he's not going to top that. And then he comes out with this, which is my favorite, like, out of everything that he's ever done. Yeah. So now he's going to do his thing, and I'm going to support him. But it's just, opening doors for other artists, other people of other languages, other cultures to know that they can win or at least be nominated for a Grammy of the Year among the mainstream stars.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway is that you could do anything and it doesn't matter who you are and where you come from. That's honestly the biggest takeaway. But I think that we could sit here, honestly, we could sit here all day and talk about Bad Bunny.
I know I can.
There are so many different topics that we need to get to today. And one of those includes one that we've talked about before. We've talked about this person last week, Lindsay Lohan. Apparently, there's talks now.
Every week, man.
Every week, man. She's doing something. There's talks now. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan doing a sequel to Freaky Friday. They're in talks now. All this stuff is coming out, and apparently the storyline is going to be that Lindsay Lohan's like a mom now, and it happens to her with the kids and and Jamie Lee Curtis is the grandmother, and she like is aware of everything, and they already have this story planned out what they want to do, but
I like this
because I love the first one.
Yeah,
it brings the nostalgia of like those old school Disney Channel days, but I'm open to it. I mean, if it's like what she did with this new Netflix movie that we talked about last week, I'm not watching it because I don't know if you saw that movie got horrible reviews.
I saw the reviews and it showed up on my Netflix like the top watch, and I was like, I'm not clicking on that. No.
I don't think.
Now this Freaky Friday, the storyline that you're telling me sounds super interesting. That I will watch because it's not a remake. You're talking about something completely different, but you're still kind of putting them together. I like the original one, so this is something that I can definitely see myself tuning in or going to see when it comes out. It's a good way to do the nostalgia, but give it a new twist, which is what I like. I don't like when they just completely remake things. It feels like you don't have any original thoughts of ideas that you can mix in. This sounds like, something where we include everybody, but we give it a new story.
Yeah, I think that, and that's the biggest thing to touch on too, is that they're not remaking it. It's going to be a sequel. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from that movie. But that's just, I don't know. It's one of those things that if it happens, fantastic, I'll see it. If it doesn't happen, like, on to the next. I'm okay. Like, it's
right. Like, I don't think anybody's saying I'm losing sleep over waiting for a new Freaky Friday to come out. No. Yeah. Will we go see it if it does? Yes.
Oh, of course. So there's this topic here that honestly I see every week, and it's the same thing, and I don't even know how it's possible, but they made a guide for it now, which is pretty funny. The guide to Nick Cannon's kids. I don't know if you've seen this, but this guy announces a pregnancy every other week. I don't know how it's possible. Is he married? Is he like, what is happening? He is about.
He's seeing somebody new now, right? She just popped one out.
I don't know. I see every week Nick Cannon announces pregnancy with this person. Nick Cannon announces pregnancy with this person. He's got 11 kids.
Yep.
I have no words.
I saw a tweet. Somebody tweeted the other day about like the world overpopulating, and then somebody quote tweeted it and said, "Can somebody lock up Nick Cannon?" And I just laughed hysterically for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I have one better
because that's like that's the joke. Oh wait, what is it?
Yeah. So one of my friends I saw on Facebook, she posted something and she goes, we're going to live in a world soon where we're all descendants of Nick Cannon.
No.
Like future, we will all be descendants of Nick Cannon. I was hysterically laughing. Like that is just like
that's a good one.
This guy, I know he has 2 kids with Mariah Carey.
The twins.
Other than that, it's just numbers.
I have no clue how he ended up with this many kids. No clue.
Well, I mean, I have an idea.
As long as he's taking care of. Well, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I didn't realize, like, how many baby mamas does he have now?
Okay, so this guide. It's funny.
Well, you follow the guide, so please enlighten me.
Yeah, no, I'll follow the guide right now. It says Nick Cannon's kids guide: the names and ages and mothers of all his children. When you have your own article with that information, I think it's time to just stay home and have a night to yourself.
Yep.
So Cannon shares with 6 different women. 6 different women.
Okay.
Let's see.
And one of them happens to be Mariah Carey. Like
one of them happens to be Mariah Carey. They have 2, so that leaves 9. As for the specifics of Cannon's arrangements with these women, Bree Ticey, I don't know how do you say her name. Let's see. Someone said she has a podcast, and she said that her relationship with Nick Cannon was impossible to categorize. I don't know what that means either.
Wow.
I don't know. When you can't you don't know how to label your relationship with your baby daddy. I don't know. I know that he had a child that passed away like last year or so.
Really?
Yeah, he had a baby with somebody, and the baby was like a couple months old, and
that's
it was
sad.
something was off, and the baby didn't make it. But he got the mom of that baby, that child, they just got pregnant again.
Okay.
So that's one of the pregnancies announced, but there was like 2 in the span of like 2 weeks announced with different people.
He needs a reality show.
Seriously.
I want to follow this.
It should be called My Kids and I. The story of Nick Cannon.
I love the idea of it being a guide. Like a whole, like I can actually see it being a pamphlet that you flip through and you go, okay, wait, he posts a picture with this baby. This baby belongs to her.
USA Today. Nick Cannon's kids guide: the names and ages of all his children and baby mamas.
That's crazy. That's
Nick
incredible.
Cannon has welcomed 11 children with 6 women since 2011.
You know what I find fascinating about this? It's like the writer that got to research this article. How much fun must have that been?
Oh man! And the fact that they called it like a kid's guide, I mean, it is just incredible. I don't know. Again, if you have to have someone do research and like, there's so much information about your children.
I legitimately didn't know what we're up to. Like, I didn't know what the count was at this point. I just know that I see it all the time. Like, Nick Cannon is pregnant again. And I'm like, again, like, all you can tell but to think is again, and then you just move on.
Yeah.
But when somebody mentions it, that's when you go like, Jesus, how many does he have now?
Yeah. 11 in what, 10 years? 2011, 10 years?
Yeah.
Wow. With 1 on the way or 2 on the way. It's more than 1 a year.
He's trying to take over the world. Definitely.
He wants his own like baseball team or something, or I don't know. he wants something. But speaking of numbers, there was an interesting article that I saw regarding Black Panther, the new Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Do you see it yet?
I haven't seen it. I was supposed to see it earlier this weekend. I didn't get a chance to. But they opened with a 330 million global box office, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Let's see. The sequel demolished the record for November opening in North America, which the previous one was 158 million, which was set by the Hunger Games, Catching Fire. So, I mean, it's been a little while since there was a record for that broken. So kudos to them. Kudos. I heard a little bit about the movie, not to spoil anything, but it's a tearjerker. So just prepare yourself to cry a little bit. Are you a crier in movies? Do you cry in movies?
No, I only cry during like Disney movies or romantic comedies because I realize how ridiculous the story is, and kids are growing up to believe that that's how life works, and it's not.
See, in those like sad movies, like I'm a crybaby.
You want to know what movie cracked me to the point that when I walked out from seeing it, everybody in the living, because I was watching it in the room, right? Yeah. And my whole family was in the living room. And when I walked out, everybody just stopped, because I'm not a crier and I'm very dry, sarcastic. So my whole family were like, "Are you okay?" And my eyes were that red.
I hope it's not the same movie that happened. I had the same experience. Sorry to cut you off. I had the same experience with a specific movie, and it, like,
Oh my God.
I was ruined for like a
cracked
week.
you?
I
What
was
movie
ruined
cracked
for a
you?
week. Like, I felt
I
like
need to know.
I knew the person in this movie, and it like I suffered a loss. Like, it was the weirdest thing. What was
it?
your movie?
No, you go first.
I forgot the name of the movie, so don't hate me. It's the one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga.
Oh, yeah. No, that's
It's
not
not
the
it.
movie that cracked me.
No, it's not you. Yeah. No, I saw that movie. A Star is Born, right? A Star is Born.
A Star is Born. Yes.
I saw that movie in a theater, and I was like, for a whole week, I felt like I knew the people, and I was like, ugh, oh my god, like it was horrible. Yeah, it's not the movie you're thinking of. You looked at me like amateur.
No, because I don't think you'll be shocked to know that the movie that cracked me was A Dog's Purpose.
Oh, I can't see it.
I know.
Nope.
Like dog the crazy movie? Dog mom that never cries, never expresses any feelings. Of course, that will be the movie that gets me. And then I make the stupid mistake of watch the second part to it on a plane, and I'm crying.
Oh no! Get out of here! Nope.
I turned it off. I'm like, I can't do this. Yep, dog movies get me. Movies get me every
animal
time.
Movie. I am not even looking at the poster. I'm like, I got like water in my eyes looking at the poster. I'm not doing it. Nope.
A Dog's Purpose.
The Marley and Me scarred me for life.
Oh my god,
for
that
life.
Movie so much.
I saw that movie like when it came out, so I was like a teenager at that point.
Yeah.
No. Don't do it.
A Dog Purpose is like a roller coaster too, because of spoilers. But every time the doggy dies, you are so broken, and then they reunite somehow, and then you like get so fulfilled, and then you have to go through it again, and it's just like it's
the one where like the dog dies and it comes back as like another dog or something.
And like looks for the owner, and then they made a sequel to that, and then they made another one like a spin-off of it, which is the dog that gets lost, and she takes like 3 years to find her way home. Oh my god, that one is actually cute because she ends up like getting lost in the jungle and makes friends like with this like wild cat. Like, it's cute, but it's still like heart-wrenching when, oh my god, it's dog movies for me. I am the toughest SOB. Like, I would not cry over anything. Put a dog movie on, and I'm like, oh, that's how you get me. I should have not put that on the air. Now people know.
You know which movies I loved? Well, I mean, I would assume just because Roman, he's your ruler, so he's your tribal chief.
Literally.
You know what? When I was little, I don't know if you remember these movies, but I used to love them. The Homeward Bound movies.
Yes.
Those I liked.
They were cute.
But see, I was a kid and I didn't know feelings then. I didn't know anything then. Then as you get older, you're like, oh my god, everything is bad. Nope. No. See, those movies were okay.
I have trust issues. I always tell people I love dogs more than humans. I say that.
Absolutely.
And I always say that humans don't deserve dogs. Like, I don't think we deserve dogs. Those are too loyal and too precious of an animal for some humans, right?
Agreed.
So it doesn't surprise me that those are the movies that will get to me. Like, I can see something super sad on screen and still be like, yeah, okay, that was sad, but you're not gonna see like tears. But that movie, I came out looking like something really bad happened to me.
Kudos to you for even watching that, because I won't even. Nope, nothing. I won't even. Nope. I'm like, turn it off, get it out of here. I'm leaving. Like, can't do it.
And then it gets ideas in your head too, because then you start thinking, is my dog connected to me like that? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's the after effect that's like, gets you. It's just, I don't know. But have you seen well, first off, let's backtrack. Did you see the original Black Panther?
Of course I did. I did. I love that movie. I love what it represented at the time that it came out. Yeah. And that's why I am very 50-50 about going to see Wakanda Forever. And I haven't made up my mind whether I want to see it now or wait it out until it comes out. But I can't wait for you to read this article, because I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions on it.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw, so far I've only seen good things from it, and that, obviously it was a tearjerker. But there's a lot of people that are saying some negative things about it as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know the storyline of the movie. I'm not too familiar with what's going on. I know obviously, the guy who played Black Panther obviously passed away in real life, so there's not a way to really, come back from that in the storyline. And spoiler alert for anybody who didn't watch it yet, but apparently they play into that real life story in the movie. But
and I've seen a couple of reviews that are pro it, and I've seen a couple of reviews that are against him, because like some people are saying, I don't want to be reminded, what happened, or he should have gone out like a hero, or other people that nothing really happened in real life have better send-offs, in the Marvel universe. Like I've seen a lot of back and forward between how they handle that.
Well, a lot of people talk about that as well when it comes to the Fast and Furious series with Paul Walker, having passed away. And still being apparently the new one that's coming out, he's involved in the movie, and it's like CGI with his brother, and people are like, I don't know if I like that idea. They should just let him rest. Like,
I didn't mind the send off. I don't know that I want to see him unless it's for like a quick flashback or something. I'm not sure how I feel about him having like a lot to do in the movie. I know we were talking about the Halloween movies, and on the Halloween Kills, they had that quick scene with Dr. Loomis where they used like prosthetics, and they kind of brought him back for the flashback scene, but it was like a quick, there he is and he's gone. And I didn't mind. Obviously the guy that played him passed away, but I did like his send-off in the movie. And I feel like all of us, I like the Fast and the Furious movies, and I feel like all of us as a fan base collectively came together to the idea, okay, like he passed away, we're done with him.
Exactly. Yeah, but like to play off of that, I know a lot of people say as well that, the money that comes from that either goes to his family or goes to his foundation. So it's like, I don't know which side I lean more towards. Like, obviously, if he's passed away in real life, it's kind of hard to utilize him in the movies, even with CGI. Like, I don't think that it's in one movie in a send-off, okay, but you're going to keep bringing him back. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. But then on the other hand, like I said, it's making money for his daughter and their foundation and different things. So it's like, I don't know which side I lean more towards in that regard.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I guess I'm going to have to go, because I think back and forth about it. I'm going to have to go see it and make my own mind, about how I feel about his send-off.
Yeah. So the next headline is one that you shared with me prior to coming on the show, and it's actually, I don't know. I thought it was a pretty funny one. It involves Chris Hemsworth. And he shares the Avengers group chat's thoughts on Chris Evans being the sexiest man alive. I don't know. Did you have a chance to read the article and see what was in there?
Yeah, they I guess they have a group chat that they have kept going, and they've just been picking on him in regards to being the sexiest man alive. And the reason why I found this headline so captivating is because that's like almost like a family group chat, right? Yeah. Like, don't you? My family group chat could be a book of how mean we are to each other and how we pick on each other. And just seeing that, I was like, that's a real friendship. Like, you're gonna get this and say, oh, congratulations, this and that. No, the real ones are gonna be like, how lame. You're not that sexy. I'm sexier. Like, torture. I want to, like that's the kind of like bantering that I want to see.
Did Chris Hemsworth win that award before?
Not that I'm aware, but I'll look it up right now. He should. He's hot. Sorry.
I don't think that he did, but I would just assume that he has. I don't know. But he hasn't. Oh, so now it's that's what makes it funny, because like people are always
2014. 2014. Hold on. I'm going way back here. 2014.
Okay, so he did. Oh, so that it's like joining. Hey,
he wasn't even that hot then. He's hotter now.
You know what's funny? Imagine having a group chat with, it says here, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson,
mm-hmm. Yep,
Jeremy Renner, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth. Imagine that group chat.
I'm pretty sure Robert Downey Jr., maybe they were picking on him for winning it last. I'm pretty sure he's won it too.
Let's see.
I'm not looking that up, because I would have put him on that magazine like right away. Okay, I can't see anything. I can't find anything on that one.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it for him. That's a shame. Now that he's the sexiest.
It also
Clearly not.
it goes on to say that Jeremy Renner, in particular, often says the most filthy things in their group chat, which is
I
pretty
want
funny,
I want a glimpse of this group chat. Make it a movie, turn it into a book. You'll make so much
right?
money.
Imagine it's just like a YouTube video or like a short or a TikTok, and
Yeah.
it's just like their text just coming up, and it's all different. Like, oh, that's great.
Yeah. Hey
It
guys, I
says,
just wanted to give you a heads up. I won sexiest man alive, and then boom, boom, boom.
oh yeah, so it says, yeah, he was crowned sexiest man alive in 2014, and he revealed that he was very proud of Evans taking over the title, calling it a true passing of the torch moment, and that he's indeed a very sexy man. That's what he said in an interview. That's hysterical.
I told you you can't be against him
Oh.
winning. You can't.
This is the best part. He said this is how he ended the interview. So well done, thank your parents.
Classic. I love that.
Oh, that's a great way to end it. Like, you should thank your parents, like,
Yeah.
winning that sexiest man alive. Nah, it's funny. So I know that we last week we or every week we really do touch on a lot of different shows, movies. Anything new this week that you've been watching?
I finished watching
plan to
Love
watch?
is Blind. I finished watching Love is Blind. They came out with the last 2 episodes. Have you seen it? Is this the kind of TV you're into?
I'm not into the reality, like, love story, bachelor type of things. I've tried. I've given it a chance, and I'm like,
so frustrated by
this is
so the concept of Love is Blind, I'm sure you heard it. It's like when they have the couples meet in the pod and they speak through a wall, but they can't see each other, and they have to get engaged before they're able to see each other.
this is the one with Nick
so
Lachey, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So you end up falling in love based on that connection that you form in there.
Yeah.
You're just sitting there, not seeing each other, disconnected from the world, just talking. And a lot of them like really open up to each other. And there has been successful marriages. The first seasons, the couple everybody fell in love with, they're still together to this day, right? Then they see each other, and then they send them out on a vacation, obviously like a mini honeymoon, and then they put them in apartments to live together for about 4 weeks, and then they have to marry. And at the altar, at the last episode, is when they get to say I do or I don't.
You see, that's an interesting concept.
It's great. Like it's addictive. It's actually addictive. So when you first start watching and you're watching them fall in love in the pod, sometimes you see like there should be like a fantasy booking, like where people can bet on which couples make it if Netflix will come out with this, because they filmed them so far ahead. Like this filmed like a year ago, so people already kind of had an idea.
Yeah.
But there's a couple that you just know it, right? Every season has that one couple that you're like, yeah, they're gonna make it. There's a lot of other couples that there was one that I feel like this girl's insecurity were projecting on him. Maybe they weren't such a good match. There's another one that obviously they're all dating each other until they find the person they want to stick talking to, right? So there's this other guy that ends up seeing the girl that he ended up dumping for this one, and she's hot, and so they get all confused. But in the reunion episode, there's this one couple that they just kind of like bully the guy, and I just like to a point where you start feeling bad for him. And a lot of the things that are being said against him, it's more of a she said, he said. But the girls have this mentality of, oh, we're girls, we're gonna have your back. But there's no evidence of what she's saying that this man did, right? It's just a matter of girls are gonna be girls, and we're gonna have your back no matter what.
Just siding with who they want to side with.
Right. So then she started saying that he gave her like an eating disorder. He was controlling her food. And then she's like, oh, for example, there's this one scene with these oranges where you were like, oh, you're going to eat both of those. Like, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So the guy, you can see him going like, no, you're crazy. So he's like, air the scene if you have it. Like, he's daring Netflix to do it. And they freaking did it. At the end of the reunion, they put the scene in there. Yes, like it's filthy television, and I love it, right? Yeah. But on the scene, he says it in the way, Joey, of, oh, you need that? Make sure you save your appetite because we're going to have a big dinner. Not in that kind of way, like you're too fat to eat oranges. Completely different context. But if you're saying that to somebody that's insecure, if you say that to me on the wrong day, I'm going to probably take it the wrong way. You see what I'm saying? So it was like this couple could not communicate. And it was like, I'd rather them say, hey, you guys were probably not a good pair up than just gang up on him. And then when you see the context of thing, you realize that he wasn't a saint either. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was just a big misunderstanding, and it drove me crazy the way that they treated him, and that nobody said, okay, that's enough because you don't have evidence to back up this claim.
Yeah.
So that part kind of upset me, but I find this show very fascinating, the concept of it, and like there's a couple that ends up saying no, but they're still together, and that's ended up being my favorite couple. And on the first couple episodes, I was like, they're not gonna last. Like, she's just with him for this reason or whatever. Very, very fascinating show with a very controversial ending that has a lot of people going back and forth on whose side they're taking on how this guy, his name was called, how he was treated. So I probably wasted entirely way too much time like reading reviews and watching YouTube videos to see what other people think. I didn't think he was like a saint throughout the season, but I hated the treatment that they gave him at that finale. And I just didn't think it should have been allowed.
See, honestly, I've never really been a fan of like reality shows like that. I watched, I didn't watch it religiously, but I watched Big Brother, and I love
Big Brother.
That was like my initial like. I don't really like reality TV, but this is a cool concept. I like the idea. I
like Survivor more. I feel like Big Brother is more social. Where Survivor, you have to have actual skills, or you are able to save yourself by, winning immunity and this and that. Like there's some survival skills needed to where Big Brother is like 90% social. So if you're an introvert, that has to be hard, But I love the concept of Big Brother.
See, I also said the same thing about like the singing audition shows. I hated, I despised American Idol. I was like, it's all like fixed, it's fake, I don't like it. And then, I started watching The Voice, and that I watch religiously now. So, I mean, it's just a matter, I guess, of giving it a chance. But from what you described, honestly, I didn't know the full concept of that. I knew Love is Blind. It's one of those reality love shows. Nick Lachey and his wife are on there. I didn't know much more than that. But now knowing the concept, like they don't actually get to meet face to face until the wedding, and it's just based off.
No. They meet. No. That's not. They meet face to face after they propose. Then they have to go on and kind of like live a life.
Oh, so that's when they send them to the apartment and they have to
live so, but that's the thing. They also interact with the other couples, and you also have to remember that in some cases you dated these people for a short period of time in the pods. At some point, they don't show you a lot about the pods aspect of it because a lot of the drama is with them living together, and they go to each other's houses, they meet the family, they go through with a real wedding, but it's at the altar where they have to decide whether they want to stay together or not. But it's that you don't meet that person until you have already asked them to marry you.
Okay, so what we'll do for next week, for everybody watching right now, next week I'm gonna watch. How many seasons are there?
There's 3 seasons. If I gotta suggest, I will say you can skip the second one. It's the most boring. I love this one. It's very dramatic, and the first one is the most clean because it was the first season. So people are not going onto the show to get famous or Instagram famous, right?
Yeah.
But this last season, the one that I'm talking to you about, 12 episodes. It's an easy watch.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch I'm gonna attempt to finish the first season until next week. At least get some of it done, so I can kind of get an idea of, what it does, and we'll talk about it next week.
Like the beloved couple that comes out of that, I don't want to spoil it for you, but they're a biracial couple, and that was brought up. Have you ever dated somebody, and have you ever brought a wife home? And like on this specific season, like this couple starting down and talking about abortion. How do you feel about? And I'm like, there's things that they have to talk about and subjects that you have to cover that you probably wait because you have time to date someone before you. But no, these people have to decide whether they want to marry each other or not in 4 weeks. So it's like an expedited, and you see them covering this kind of topics that you're like, Jesus, I wouldn't talk to someone I just started dating a week ago about this kind of stuff, Yeah.
You know what's crazy about that too? It's because, well, at least I think because they're not face to face, that it's easier to have these conversations opposed to being face to face with your significant other, talking about, biracial relationships, abortion, kids, different things like that, like things that are typically more like emotion based, I guess you can say, emotional driven conversations, like make or break for a lot lot of conversations.
But you have to have those conversations because you're gonna get down in one knee before you even get to see this person. So it's just like there's some things that might be deal breakers for people that have to be brought up like 2 days into meeting them, because it's like, why am I gonna waste my time with you if you have, if you're not in the same page?
But you technically get to know someone a lot better. You get to open up, and it's easier for people to do in this situation opposed to just being face to face. which
That's
can
the
build a
thing.
stronger connection.
Yeah, and you see it. And there are a couple that when you start watching it, you're going to be like, oh, they're going to make it. Like, you just know there's always that one couple that you're like, yeah, they're going to make it. They're going to be okay. Yeah, you see them fall in love and you see who you're like, yeah, I don't know if that's going to work. And then sometimes you end up pleasantly shocked and sometimes you're like, holy crap. It's a good concept. It's a good show. Much better than The Bachelor. Like, I gave up on Bachelor, Bachelorette. All of those I used to watch. Now I can't.
Yeah. And Love is Blind. So they can't see each other at all until after the proposal.
Until after the proposal, right?
So they have no idea. Do they describe themselves to each other? Like
they try not to. They try not to.
Really?
Like you see some people that are a little bit superficial, so they'll try to get like. There's this one girl, gorgeous girl by the way, but she tells the guy, "Oh, I'm a Pilates instructor," and you see him in his confessional going, "Oh, she must be hot," obviously, right? Because she works out for a living. But the conversations that they go into are deep conversations, rarely ever about looks or the thing that I find funny, sometimes Netflix will put together like a video package of people trying to go around and like there was this guy that was so superficial last season and he was like, oh, I love to go to concerts. If we were to go to a concert, could I put you on my back and lift you up? It's his way of finding out how big you are. And I'm like, come on.
Clever.
Like, you know,
clever way to
clever.
Do it.
But it's like funny because you can tell. And then like people that are sitting there telling you I don't care about looks, then they realize once they get into the experiment, maybe looks were a bigger deal to me than what I assume. However, the casting people do cast, like there's nobody coming out that looks like a fucking ogre, okay? Like these are all attractive young single people too. But obviously everybody has their preferences. But I will say it's like, okay, at least they're casting people to make it a little more realistic.
See, now I'm excited to watch it. See? I think you won me over.
I used to work in sales.
Yeah. I think I got to check it out.
What about you? Did you have fun?
Not really. Honestly, this week has been like a whirlwind for me. So I haven't really been able to it's been so crazy for me that I haven't even been able to watch full episodes of wrestling. That's when you know. Like,
oh no, yeah, you have had quite a week, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think Love is Blind, and I watch the Victoria's Secret documentary on Hulu.
Okay.
It was a good watch. It's more of the business side of Victoria's Secret, but it was a good watch if you're geeky like that. I actually spent a lot of my week free time on YouTube, not on Netflix, not watching movies, just watching random documentaries on YouTube channels. One day we should bring in like our favorite YouTube channels that we follow that are non-wrestling channels.
Oh, I have a list.
Me too.
Honestly, there's so many talented content creators out there who are doing things that are way better than you even see on TV, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I like that idea. We'll have to do that for a show.
I would love, like, even if we just bring 10 or 5 YouTube channels that you're subscribed to, kind of like just so people can find something else. But I love getting lost in YouTube rabbit holes for hours and hours sometimes.
And who knows, maybe we can even get some of those content creators on as guests. So it's always worth the
That would be incredible.
That'd be awesome. Have you had a chance to see the Selena Gomez documentary?
No.
That's the person.
But since I talked you into Love is Blind, for next Tuesday, I will watch it.
Got it. All right.
You watch my show, I watch your show. How about that?
We'll do it that way. I like that concept. Now that I thought about it more, we talked about with the Selena Gomez thing before about like her friend. Like, is she a good friend? Is she a bad friend? I thought about it more. I'm still like 50-50. Like you'll have to watch it and see. Because
I'll watch it this week.
Yeah, there's some
Apple TV raised their prices, by the way.
What happened?
Apple TV raised their streaming prices.
Really?
Yeah, I think it went from like $4.99 to like $6.99.
Disney Plus is also starting in December. They're raising theirs as well.
Netflix did it recently. Hulu did it recently.
And Netflix, I think, added commercials, right? They did a subscription, like a tier system, where there's commercials. I think they did.
I don't know. I pay for the most expensive one so it can be like, because all my nephews use it, so I want to have it in multiple devices so I don't have to kick somebody out when I sign up. Like,
I do the same thing.
But
even with Peacock,
yeah, it's just becoming outrageous, right? Like,
because they can. Because they can.
Yeah, I know, but I remember, like, I know I'm going to sound old, but I remember when Netflix was like $4.99 when it first came out. Granted that the selection was very minimal, But I remember Netflix just being like, I got DVDs in the mail. Netflix. That's how old I've been in the Netflix game.
I was gonna say, I remember because Netflix originally started out as a video game. They used to send video games in the mail, and I remember my friends and I getting video games in like these little square like envelopes with the disc in there, and that's what we would play. And then look at it today. So it's really not that long ago.
That Blockbuster could have bought Netflix, and they said no.
Really? Wow.
Oh my God, I'm gonna send you the YouTube link. I'm telling you, there's some good documentaries on YouTube, and there's like one that I watched about, which by the way, the Blockbuster documentary on Netflix is very good. The Last Blockbuster, if you haven't seen it, so good. It will give you some nostalgia. But
is there a show? I think there's a show on Netflix.
Now they're gonna come out with a show.
Got it. Okay.
There's a documentary where they go to the real last blockbuster in the world, but now they're gonna come out with a show about it. And but the real story of Blockbuster, when it started going downhill, they had a chance to buy Netflix for like cheap, and they said no.
That's like make or break.
Yeah.
Crazy
so I'll send you. I watched a really good documentary about it because I'm fascinated with like business, and like there's this YouTube channel called Company Man, and he like talks about businesses that rise and fall and rise again and things like that. So he did one on Blockbuster. It was very interesting.
Oh man, see, I can go down the rabbit hole with those, and I always find like little things like of documentaries on TikTok too. I always discover stuff on TikTok. So send it to me. I would love to watch that. But yeah, a lot of different stuff, a lot of different like shows and stuff to watch. Next week I'll watch Love is Blind. You watch Selena Gomez. We'll come back and regroup, and we'll chat about it. But is there
I'm gonna download it. I have a flight on Thursday, so I'll download it and I'll happily watch it on my flight.
There you go. You're gonna be in Newark, right? Correct?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna see you there, right?
Absolutely. I got my tickets. I'm gonna be there.
I told you.
Yeah. Got cheap. I won't say cheap. Yeah, they're cheap. I would say I got good tickets.
They're going for cheap. For a pay-per-view, they're going for cheap. Like my opinion. I look at them on my streams, like to tell people, I'm like, hey, if you want to get out there, look, this is the price. This is to get you in the door. If you want to get something fancier, it all depends. But Rampage and Full Gear are going for cheap. There was a lot of drama today surrounding the Taylor Swift tickets, and
I saw that. My friend got in.
No, not for Taylor Swift, but when Bad Bunny announced this stadium tour, it was impossible to score those tickets when they came out. It was like ridiculous. Wow. You had to wait like 8,000 people in front of you, and by the time you made it, it was sold out. And you're like, why did I just stare at Ticketmaster for like an hour?
No, it's crazy because I've been to Prudential Center for WWE shows, and I always look. I found like the section that I like to sit. That's like decently priced, great view. I don't have to have my neck turned the whole time. And I have paid, I would probably say like $150 or more at Prudential Center for these tickets for WWE. How much did I pay for my AEW Full Gear pay-per-view tickets? In 84.
I think we might be on the same section. There's a very good section that's slightly elevated, but you're not on the floor like this, and you're not on the nose.
I'm the first section. First section from the floor.
I love that section because I know people like floor seating. I get it, but if you're not in the first few rows, you can't enjoy the show. And I always tell people that, like a lot of times people be like, "Oh, you get the risers or the 100 at WrestleMania, for example." I'm like, because I want to be able to see the show. I had excellent seats at night 2 of Mania. I was against the stage, so I got all the entrances, excellent pictures, excellent videos. But do you think I could watch the matches? No, I was like this the whole time. But I got them for the entrances aspect of it because, it's WrestleMania. But night 1, I sat highly elevated on the 100s, and it was perfect for me.
Yeah, I remember in 2006, that was my first pay-per-view. I went to the 2006 Royal Rumble where Rey Mysterio won. And it was my dad got me tickets for my birthday. It was like a huge thing. And we got floor seats. And I was like the 4th row behind commentary. Okay. And the entire show, everyone was standing. I couldn't see. I was small at that point. I was like 13 at that time. And I was standing on my chair to watch. because everyone was standing. And from there on, I said I will never get floor seats ever again, because unless you're sitting front row, it's not worth it. Yeah.
Or against like a ramp that you can see them come out and get some good content out of it. You know what I mean? But you have to be like an aisle at the end of the ramp, but yeah, floor seats is not. And I'm the same way with concerts. Like,
same thing.
Bad Bunny had that really big concert here in Puerto Rico, and it was a stadium concert, right? And everybody was like, "Oh, get the GA," and I'm like, "No, I'm too old to be standing down there with all the crowd." Because GA is just everybody standing by the stage.
You're like sardines. Like,
I'm like, I just want to listen to my favorite artist perform the songs and sing them out loud while I drink, and I'm like, I want a seat. I want a regular seat.
You want to be comfortable.
I was like, if I was in my early 20s, trust me, I'll be over there trying to get to the front of the stage and getting to kidnap me. I don't know. But at this stage of my life, I just want to hear the songs being performed live while I sit down with a drink. Okay. So it was so funny because people were arguing over the GA. Like, that's what was selling out. I'm like, I'm not about that life anymore. I have my time, not anymore.
Been there, done it, done.
Yeah. But it's just incredible how these tickets companies or how they advertise something as sold out, but a lot of time it's like online bots buying them to resell them. And that's why you see what's happening with Full Gear now, where they're just not selling. So they're desperately lowering the price.
Yep. No, we'll definitely see each other, and we'll definitely, do something. But I think that covers all the topics for today. We kind of talked about different shows and TV, movies and different things. For everybody watching and listening right now, please don't forget to subscribe and like down below, and let us know. Give us some suggestions. I would love to know different TV shows and movies to check out. We seem to always come up with a different. Every week we seem to come just talk about different reviews of movies and stuff. So,
well, pop culture is so broad that it's so easy to find a lot of topics, and it's so easy to not find anything because you're trying to figure out what we want to talk about. So we love to know what our viewers leave a comment. I always go back and check the comments and let us know what shows are you into, who your favorite celebrities are. That way we can look for things that you guys also enjoy.
Absolutely. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Issa, again. That I believe is number 7 of the Ludicrous Report. And we will see you
number
next
7.
week. See you guys.